What's up, fragrant world? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. Now, before we begin today's video, I know I always refer to you all as the fragrant world, but at the time I'm shooting this, the world is a little different. We got some other priorities on our plate, battling this pandemic. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and wish you all safety and sanity, security. Keep washing your hands as often as you can. Keep your distance, but don't hesitate to reach out to people if you need to talk. I want to make this a safe space. The comment section is a safe space. If you want to share any thoughts about what you're going through, we can support each other, not only with fragrance, but just with life. And this is a big life thing. So my best goes out to all of you who are actually struggling with this pandemic. So we're gonna dive in. I just did my top spring lists, which I do every year. And I did one for designer, I did one for niche. And in those lists, I shared with you some of my favorite current fragrances, both old and new, that I plan to wear this spring. And there's a number of subcategories that we can get into when it comes to spring fragrances, what smells like spring, what conjures up the idea of the springtime. And there's a few directions we can go with that. So I decided to kind of start a little mini series in this regard. Today we're talking about fruity fragrances. These are going to be fragrances in my collection that have a prominent fruity presence, not just a significant one. Because I had some that could have been on the list that I absolutely love, but they have other notes that kind of shine a little bit more as the center stage. But these that I feature here, their fruity presence is very, very clear and unabashed and, undeniable. So we're going to get into the list without much further ado. Here at number 10, this is only here at number 10 because I don't have a whole lot of experience wearing it yet, but I've worn it a couple times and man, this is elegant stuff. This is just a Discovery atomizer I have from Roja Dove. And you're not going to be able to read this, I'm sure. It's the Harrods exclusive Pour Homme. All right, and he made this, as it says, specifically for Harrods, which is a major department store, I believe, in London. And I have it sprayed. Oh, this is a gorgeous scent. It's centered around the fruit note of plum, which is one of my favorites. We're going to see at least one other plum fragrance on this list. This is nice. It's sweet. It's fresh and spicy. You got some other citruses in there. There's actually some grapefruit, which is also quite a prominent note. One thing I want to note, I'm not including citruses as fruits in this list. Although some citruses do carry a sweeter quality like mandarin orange or even bergamot, I wanted to focus on bona fide fruit notes. So citruses are not included on this list. But this is beautiful. Lots of grapefruit, lots of plum especially. There's even a little bit of oud in here. You got some patchouli, some labdanum, and definitely some spices like black pepper. It's a gorgeous scent. Very classy, elegant, especially for the daytime. Something that's just gonna smell super pleasant, but very interesting. There's a lot of depth here, as with a lot of Roja's fragrances. So I wanna highly recommend checking out. If you love plum especially, beautiful use of plum here. That is the Harrods exclusive Pour Homme. At number 9, this is a fragrance I have been neglecting. I've had it since it came out. This was sent to me by Euro Perfumes, who I will link down in the description. And I think at this point, this fragrance came out almost 2 years ago from the house of Etat Libre d'Orange.
You call that a French accent?
I don't know.
Let's just get you a croissant and a beret and call you Pierre.
Let's forget that happened. This is called I Am Trash, or Le Fleur de Déchet, which translates to flowers from waste, or the flowers from the waste. This is centered around apple. This fragrance has a very special process which created it, called upcycling, taking older materials that we would have naturally thrown out, even rotten materials, and converting them into things that we can use, things that are actually pleasant. So this does not smell like garbage or trash or anything of that sort. It's actually a really beautiful unisex fragrance. It's a little bit fresh. It's kind of light, but it is quite sweet. It's a little rosy. There is rose in here. There's a little bit of woods like cedar wood, sandalwood, and I think there's even some isoe super. So it has a musky quality to it. Not the most natural smelling fragrance, but also very good quality, I gotta say. Good stuff for the springtime. One I'm gonna try to wear more. I just haven't really worn it that much. That's I Am Trash from ELDO. We'll just call him that from now on. Here at number 8, this is a clone. And I gotta say, I enjoy the clone a little bit more than the original, but this is just my taste. I think the original is fantastic and unique and a beautiful scent all on its own. And that scent is Creed's Virgin Island Water. This clone comes from Parfums Vintage. This is called Isla Tropica. I don't know if you can read that, but this is the Prive version. In fact, they have 2 versions. And this is gorgeous, centered around coconut. Now, just really briefly, some people might say, well, is coconut a fruit? Coconut has characteristics of the 3 major categories or classifications. We got nut, we got fruit, and we also have drupe. Technically, it's a dry drupe, but the culinary aspects of it definitely make it more towards a fruit, and also just, you know, the interior itself. We can think of it as a fruit, the way we consume it, the way we use it. So you can call it a fruit. So that's why it's on this list. Based around coconut, but also lots of lime. And in this version, in this Prive version, the lime note is accentuated and it sticks around a lot longer than it does in Virgin Island Water. It's really, really a transportive scent. Again, the coconut adds this almost like, again, tropical quality, almost like a tropical drink you're enjoying on the beach. There's a suntan lotion vibe in the background, but it's really about that coconut and the lime. And lime is a gorgeous addition to the scent. It really does complement the coconut. This is nice. This is great for the summer. You'll be seeing more of this on my channel as it warms up. Vacation in a bottle here. That is Isla Tropica Prive from Parfums Vintage. Here at number 7, from a fantastic and underrated Italian niche fragrance house, Bois 1920. This is called Dolce di Giorno. If you've been watching the channel any length of time, you already know that I really enjoy this fragrance. This is also centered around plum. There's other things in here. There's cinnamon, there's cedarwood, there's vanilla, cypriol. So it comes off quite woody. It's definitely sweet and spicy, but the plum adds a succulent quality. It kind of makes it thick, and that vanilla is also gorgeous. The way it kind of rounds out the scent and makes it a little creamy. But that plum note is nice. The scent is both dark and light. The plum is kind of a dark juiciness, but it is a little bit brighter and has a kick with the cinnamon. It has a spicy kick. Really interesting fragrance. Great for the springtime. I don't think I included this on my niche spring list, and the only reason why is because I forgot about it. So shame on me. I love this stuff. This would have easily made the list. Want to check out, that is Dolce di Giorno from Bois 1920. Here at number 6, one of my favorite fragrances. It's becoming that quite quickly. One that I would have never expected I would truly love as much as I do, from the house of Jean Paul Gaultier. This is Ultra Male. Centered around the note of pear. That is our primary fruity note here. It has this bubblegum quality to it. It's also kind of a fougere in a strange way, and like a playful modern fougere with lavender. There's vanilla in here. There's cinnamon in here, so it's almost this fresh, spicy nature to it, but it's very sweet, a little creamy, very strong. But that pear note is gorgeous. It's a great addition here. In terms of this kind of scent profile, there's not much that smells quite like Ultra Male. I love it. Here in the top 5, one that I have often compared to Ultra Male, but with time I've realized that they're not all that similar, but at least for me, they serve a very similar purpose. And this fragrance does have a prominent fruity note. It has some other notes in there too that are almost quite as strong, but the apple in this one is very, very present for me, but alongside cardamom, geranium, some woods. This is Layton from Parfum de Marly. And this is your easy breezy, bound to get compliments, borderline beast mode, Perfect to wear just about all year round, but I love it for the springtime and the transition seasons in general. This is really good stuff you can wear in day or night. That apple note is gorgeous, and it's really well complemented by everything else in here. Super mass appealing, decent quality, doesn't come off smelling the most natural, but still really, really pleasant. Here at number 4, this could have been a number of fragrances to fill this slot. Talking about the note of pineapple, we had to bring it up. Creed Aventus could have made this list. I am no longer talking about Creed Aventus at the moment because my bottle is dead. It died. It turned or something. The performance has completely disappeared. I just cannot get the same wearing experience, so I don't wear it anymore. But instead, from Parfums Vintage yet again, this is one of their newer fragrances from last year, a follow-up to their very popular Pineapple Vintage Intense. This is Pineapple Vintage Intense Gold. The pineapple note is super sweet and juicy here, complemented with some wood, some musk, some vanilla. It's fresh. I think there's also some citrus like bergamot in here, but that pineapple is front and center, and I mean, just like with the bottle, it's right there. What you see is what you get. I could have also put Emperor Eau de Parfum here. This is closer to Aventus, but this is more of a balanced fragrance as it compares to Aventus, while this is definitely much more on the pineapple side. This is good stuff if you're looking for a great pineapple scent that's not Aventus, that's a little cheaper. Then you can check out Intense Gold from Parfums Vintage. Here at number 3, I've been saving this for the summertime. I could have put this on my spring niche list, but for me, this is a summer scent. You look at the bottle and it just screams summer. From the house of Acqua de Parma, this is Fico di Amalfi. And the name of our fruit in this one is in the name of the fragrance, Fico, which is fig, and from the Amalfi region, the Amalfi coast of Italy. This is a gorgeous, sweet, juicy, slightly green, a little spicy, watery fig. There's some citrus to complement it. There are some woods in here as well, but that fig note, it's so sweet and juicy, a touch of tartness, a little green, but not really. And again, has this watery nature, at least to my nose. This is beautiful stuff. Fig for the summertime. This is what I would go with, at least for now. That is Fico di Amalfi. Here at number 2, one you might find surprising to see here at number 2 over everything else. But if you've been watching my videos the past year or so, then maybe it's not such a surprise. And in a way, this order is kind of arbitrary, but not really. I try to order them in, how much I would actually wear them myself in terms of frequency. From the house of Tommy Hilfiger, this is Tommy For Men. Man, apple, once again. Apple in this one, paired with some beautiful aromatic mint, cactus. I know my man Ross at TLTG was telling me to check out Bulgari Man Extreme, which also has a very prominent cactus note and kind of compares to this one, maybe with better performance. I will check that out. At the moment, I'm loving this, and again, for the context of this list, apple is beautifully done here. Again, not the most natural scent, but it's fresh, it's sweet, it's aromatic, it's a little aquatic in a way, kind of woody, and you can get it cheap. Links down below. In fact, I'll try to link all these fragrances down below where you can purchase them. But this one you can definitely get under 30 bucks. For sure. Tommy For Men. Classic. And at number 1, one I haven't talked about in a while, another one that I like to save for the summertime. Could have made my spring list, but again, I save it. This is just like super classy, elegant summertime vibes. This is Creed Millesime Imperiale. Fruity and musky, primarily what you get out of this. Fresh, fruity, musky. Now the fruits in here, you find different things depending on where you look. Some people say it's watermelon, and I get that vibe. But a lot of other sources say it's just a mixed fruit accord. So I'm honestly not exactly sure what it is. Now, to be honest, it doesn't really smell definitively like watermelon to my nose. but I can see the resemblance, but there's just other things in there to my nose. There's other fruits. It is more of a mixed fruit vibe to me. But this is ultimate fruitiness for me, but elegant fruitiness, not super light and playful and joking. This is like, you're gonna be pleasant. People are gonna wanna be around you. They're gonna wanna get closer to you, and they're gonna take you seriously. Creed Millesime Imperiale, a little pricey. There's various clones out there. I know Armaf has that new one called, I don't even remember. It's in a gold bottle. I'll put a picture on screen. I haven't tried that. I heard that one is really close. But I love this one. When it comes to fruity fragrances, this is my number one, Creed Millesime Imperiale. All right, and I gotta say, I forgot to mention this. This idea came to me from a subscriber. I don't remember when you suggested this. It's been several months, I'm sure. But I've had it on my list of video ideas ever since you suggested it, so I'm finally getting around to it. So I don't know if you're gonna see this, but if you do, thank you for the idea. I credit it to you. And those of you who watched, thank you so much. Let me know what your favorite fruity fragrance is. What one fragrance, I know a lot of you guys like to list 10 or 15. I wanna know your favorite one. Force yourself, challenge yourself to pick one. Let me know what it is. It makes it easier for us to talk about it. If you got one, then it's easier for me to engage with that in terms of just time. Taking the time to actually get back to you. Please just one. If you like the video, please like the video. Really shows a lot of support and I appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then go ahead and click the button. I hope by now I've shown you the value of what we do here on the channel, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.